Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, Mehdi Hasan did a full-on interview with Khawaja Asif, the Defense Minister of Pakistan. We're going to check out this interview and see what we can take out of it. So let's go. All right, so...
A war with India, a defense agreement with Saudi Arabia, and a deepening of ties with Trump's America. What a year it's been for Pakistan, which also continues to face political upheavals at home with the ongoing and hugely controversial imprisonment of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Joining me now to talk about all of this and more is Pakistan's Defense Minister, Khawaja Asif. Thank you so much for joining us here in New York. You're here at the United Nations. There's a lot going on in the news, separate to the UN. Big news right now with Pakistan, a lot of people are asking, is the Defense Pact. Saudi Arabia was one of the first countries to recognize Pakistan after it gained independence from the British in 1947. And now this month, both of your two countries have signed this pretty historic mutual defense agreement, pledging that any attack on either nation would be an attack on both nations. How much of this agreement is a reaction to what happened in Qatar recently with the Israeli bombing of Qatar?
It is not a reaction to what happened in Qatar, because this was being negotiated for quite some time. So it's not a reaction. Perhaps must have speeded it up a bit, but that is all. It's not. It was already in the offing.
In terms of mutual defense, Pakistan is the Muslim majority world's only nuclear power, and in recent years, Saudi Arabia has expressed interest in being the second, with the Saudi energy minister saying in January that his country is ready to enrich and sell uranium, albeit for energy purposes. You told Reuters that nuclear weapons were not on the radar of this pact, your words. So just to be clear for people watching, is Saudi Arabia protected by Pakistan's nuclear umbrella per this agreement or not?
You know what, before we get the response to this, I want us to kind of backtrack and go to the alliance between Pakistan and Saudi. So, अगर आपको हमारा कंटेंट पसंद आए तो ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें. हो सकता है दीन का पैगाम ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुंच जाए. मतलब कि #सदका जारिया. तो चले बाकी वीडियो देखते हैं. This is a big deal. For Muslims around the world, this is a big deal. But it really depends whether it was done for Muslims around the world or not. Because, well, look, if you've got two Muslim majority countries allying with each other, it only improves its strength across the globe. For example, when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ migrated to Medina, some of the first things that he did was that he went to the neighboring towns around Medina and he formed alliances and pacts to, if you guys need defense or help or support, we're going to be there for you. But in the same way, if we need support from you guys, then you need to be with us. So this is a very good strategy that was applied during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and but the intention was that we need to defend the Muslims, right? It wasn't the people of Medina. In fact, Muslims were actually called out across the Arab regions that whoever wanted sanctity should come to Medina because they will find that sanctity in Medina. So the true purpose behind those alliances were for Muslims. But seeing what's going on in Gaza, what's going on between Israel, I don't think that this alliance was specifically for Muslims than just individual country interests, right?
Well, you have rightly quoted me from Reuters, but we have had a very long defense relationship with Saudi Arabia, spanning on 5 or 6 decades. We had military presence over there, perhaps more than 4,000 or 5,000 at the peak. And we still have military presence over there. So it's, I think we have just formalized that relationship, which was previously a bit transactional.
Yeah.
And but it was something which stayed there like 5-6 decades. So it has been formalized now.
But formalized with or without the nukes?
No, it's this is something which I'll refrain from going into the details because it's a defense pact, and defense pact are normally not discussed publicly.
Well, people can read into your silence what they want to read into it. I mean, you do have nuclear weapons. Everyone knows.
We have nuclear weapons.
And Saudi Arabia does not. So I guess...
I think, I always pray and, I've given this example that since Nagasaki and Hiroshima, despite multiple nuclear powers in the world, nobody has resorted, Thank God, not yet. Thank God.
I will come back to the risk of nuclear war in a moment, but Bob Woodward, in his 2024 book, War, he quotes Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, telling a US senator, I don't need uranium to make a bomb, I'll just buy one from Pakistan. Can he do that?
I think it's just it has sensationalized.
You don't believe that quote?
No, I don't believe that quote.
You're not in the business of selling nuclear weapons to other Muslim minority countries.
You know what? I've actually seen some people make fun out of Khawaja Asif regarding the way he responded to this question. But we need to remember that it was actually even part of how Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to represent the Muslim army during those times. I mean, there was a tactic showing that when you're setting up campfires, right? Set up loads of campfires and have them dispersed across the land to make it seem as if that there's a huge army that's coming your way, right? And we're also told, it was one of the teachings of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that if there is a visitor, a guest that is coming over to meet you at your army camp, right? Then from where they're going to go through, try to show as much as possible, but do not let them get the real figures of how many people there are actually, right? And have your tent nice and big to kind of show that, you're in a position of authority. So it's not reasonable for Khawaja Asif to actually give any details regarding their pact between Saudi, because they don't want potential enemies to understand, what kind of pact there are. But it should seem, even from Mohammed Salman's response, this is a very clever strategy in, just showing that we have allies. We have Pakistan right next to us. So don't even think about it, kind of thing, right? So I completely back Khawaja Asif in this sense that, yeah, definitely don't tell everyone your country secrets.
We're very responsible people,
India responded to the agreement by stating that it would study the implications of this development for both national security as well as for regional and global stability. Saudi Arabia, as you know, Minister, is very close to India. MBS has called Modi his older brother. Modi visited Saudi Arabia in April of this year. Is this Pakistan's attempt to pull Saudi Arabia out of India's orbit?
I personally feel, because I have involved in different positions, negotiating or interacting with the Saudi royal family or Saudi leadership. Our relationship is not subject to their relationship with India. It has absolutely no effect on Saudi-Pak relationship. If they have a business relationship with India, or they have but I think our relationship is much more robust, and it won't be affected by any transaction or any warming up with India. We don't see it like that,
Your country's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, this month he called for the creation of an Arab Islamic task force to adopt effective measures to ward off Israeli expansionist design, his words. We'll get to Israel shortly. But I just wanted to ask you, is this Saudi pact an early step in the creation of that task force? You
know what, this is not something new, right? I've been hearing an Saudi Islamic army for years, right? For many, many years. This wasn't something through Shehbaz Sharif, right? And it's never come to fruition. If I remember correctly, I think even 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we had army general who retired from Pakistan's army, went to Saudi, and this is one of the initiatives they were working on. But where are they? Where are they in Gaza? I don't see them supporting. And see, you need to be very careful with your words. Shehbaz Sharif says, as according to Mehdi Hasan, that they're going to do a Saudi Islamic army, right? When you bring Islam into it, you're incorporating Muslims around the world. You're not saying Saudi, Pakistani, Islamic army, right? You're not individualizing it to just the people in Pakistan or the people in Saudi, and that too only for Muslims, right? You're not saying that. So if you're going to make such a bold claim about it, where are you for Gaza? Where are you for the Uyghur Muslims? Where are you?
Force. You've previously said that the doors are not closed with respect to other Arab nations joining. People are now openly talking about a Muslim NATO. Is that on the table?
No, I actually said that we want to create something on the pattern of NATO. And I think that would be a very constructive thing in our area. Because we are...
Which countries would be in?
Muslims and Arab. And of course, obviously, if it is a Islamic NATO, then most non-Arab and Arab Muslims would be included.
Have you had interest from other countries in the region in this?
Yeah, we are. There are countries who are inclined to join this arrangement, but it's still at a very nascent stage.
But Pakistan is leading it. This is your idea, and you're pushing it?
Actually, it's an idea coming from multiple quarters. Okay. It's the event in the recent past has forced the countries of the region to rethink their relationship and rethink their strategies.
I mean, I guess countries in the neighborhood are very worried about the American security umbrella not extending to them. Qatar is an ally of the US. They got bombed by Israel. We are in New York for the UN General Assembly meetings. The UN has been severely undermined over the past 2 years by Israel's continuing genocide in Gaza. Pakistan has called upon the UN to suspend Israel's membership due to that genocide. The UN has, done the odd condemnation, but not much else. How much faith do you have in the United Nations to hold countries accountable for genocide or war crime?
UN has not really performed the way people expected when this organization was created. The Kashmir resolution, Security Council resolution on Kashmir is one big example, and so many other resolutions on Palestine and other problems. But whenever United States wants to, use United Nations for its own interests or its own agenda, negatively or positively, the organization is, forced to submit to their wishes, but not the third world or Muslim world. So it has.
So this is very interesting because we're getting two bits of information coming in. There's one bit where Khawaja Asif is basically stating that they're leading towards a Muslim NATO, right? An equivalent of NATO. And on the flip side, also condemning how the United Nations have basically addressed those issues while talking about Kashmir, right? Now, in one way, I would say that just thinking about Kashmir is a bit selfish. But yeah, he also said about Palestine, so that's fine. What my issue is that when we're looking at Palestine, when we look at all of the countries surrounding Gaza, right? We see Egypt, we see Qatar, we see Oman, we see Pakistan, we see Afghanistan, right? And Iran. My issue is that when you look at them, it feels very selfish, right? And scared. I mean, Shehbaz Sharif himself has said years ago that beggars can't be choosers. And he was speaking about Pakistan. He was literally calling us beggars. He was talking about his relationship with the United States of America. So my question is on the intention behind it. I remember there was recently a get-together of all of the Islamic countries where Saudi was there, UAE was there, Pakistan was there, and they discussed it straight after the attack on Qatar. They discussed that, okay, does anyone have any solutions? And no one spoke up except Pakistan, right? And there were many reasons why. I was looking at a lot of videos where they were explaining that the reason why this country didn't speak up is because they have a relationship with such and such country and they don't want to say anything which can upset that country, etc., etc., etc. Now, if you've got people with that kind of mentality, then I don't know how strong this Muslim NATO is going to basically hold up, right? And most probably this Muslim NATO is going to go head to head with the United Nations, because in its, definition, it is going to be looking at the interest of Muslims in the Eastern region, right? And there's a lot of it where it is going to have to go head to head with the UN. And I don't know whether that is something that can ever be possible, the way the world has been set up so far.
So it is, but I would never say that the organization should be discarded. But having said that,
see, when someone says I don't think that, they're essentially wanting to say that. But yeah,
we can have like SU. Is an organization which can play a very vital role in international politics, because in my humble opinion, the power centers are slowly and gradually are shifting towards East. So UN maybe in the long run become redundant, or an organization which can be become fossilized.
Yes,
but at the moment, I would say it's still, it has utility. It's a platform which can be used by a country like ours.
It definitely needs reform. We will come back to Kashmir in a moment. Just sticking with Israel for a moment, Pakistan does not have any formal relations with Israel, but it does have increasingly close relations with Israel's primary funder, the United States. Have you tried at all to get the US to restrain its number one ally in the world, Israel? I'm sure many ordinary Pakistanis are upset with your government for having such a close relationship with the US while they're backing a genocide.
Yeah, we're very upset, especially when you're going to be voting for Donald Trump to be winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Then obviously we're going to be upset. 10 minutes, 9 seconds. I can see that Mehdi Hasan is now escalating it, and things are going to go very heavy now. So let's see how Khawaja Asif starts responding to this.
Well, we have had a transactional or a flirtatious relationship with the United States for a very long time.
Those are two different things. Transactional and flirtatious are two different things.
Flirtatious can be transactional, and transactional can be flirtatious.
I'll defer to you.
This guy just say flirtatious.
So we have had that since the Baghdad Pact and Cito, Santo, and our assistance or our lend.
I understand the history,
Yeah.
but this year it feels like you guys are much closer. Trump seems to like you. You seem to like him.
Yeah,
and I'm just
that is
wondering,
correct.
given you're closer, Pakistanis might say, if our government is so close to Trump, why can't they do something to get Trump to restrain Netanyahu? Have you done anything?
I think some of our friends and brothers, they were much closer to Trump or to United States. Historically speaking, they couldn't persuade them to abandon Israel because of the Israeli influence in American politics. That's a very big factor of which has shackled United States of America politically and otherwise.
Okay, you know what? The fact that Khawaja Asif is stating these facts on camera now, it just shows how open everything has become. When the defense minister is very casually saying that, yeah, the Israelis have done their lobbying, they've got a huge influence on the US, yeah, the US have a huge influence on the United Nations, and yeah, the United Nations only moves when it's in the US's interests, right? If these are facts, if the world knows this, I'm astonished that we have a United Nations that functions like this. I'm astonished that the people of the US have allowed this to happen. And I'm astonished that the world is allowing the US to have so much influence over global politics. It's crazy, man. I mean, before, when someone would say this, it would sound like a conspiracy theory. But in a matter of 2 years, we've gotten to a situation where the defense minister is casually saying it to Mehdi Hasan, And Mehdi Hasan is not even, like contradicting it. He's not saying, wait, hold on, this is a big deal, that what you just said right now. It's just an obvious fact that the world knows now. It's just interesting to see how the narrative's shifted.
Your country gave a top US general just a few weeks ago Pakistan's Nishan-e-Imtiaz, the National Medal of Excellence. A lot of people were upset with that.
Yeah, there were some voices in Pakistan. People protested that it shouldn't.
So why did you do it?
We have military cooperation arrangements with the United States. And it's historical. It's nothing new.
Okay.
So it has seen ups and downs, but it has stayed sometimes very active, sometimes inactive.
So you keep citing the history, which is true, but I'm just seeing something very different this year. On June 20th of this year, for example, Pakistan publicly, officially nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. The very next day, Trump became the first American president to bomb Iran in what many view as a totally illegal strike. Did your government make a fool of itself by nominating Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize the day before he attacks another country?
Yes, yes, and yes. Pakistan has been disgraced by this action. Let's see what he says.
But we didn't know that he's going to attack
You
Iran
didn't,
the next day.
but then you looked foolish, did you not?
But let me, the reason behind that, the role President Trump played between, bringing the clash between India and Pakistan to halt, and the ceasefire.
Okay, again, I've been seeing a lot of videos out there that are criticizing and making a mockery of the way Khawaja Asif is speaking, his stuttering. Look, this is an elderly man, and in Islam, we need to respect our elders, right? I don't find it funny at all. And as Muslims, we should not be seen mocking others. I mean, if we mock others, and what if Allah brings that same thing onto us, where when we grow older, we're unable to finish a sentence and we start stuttering like that, right? So this isn't what our tarbiyah should be, right? For me, it's just the interview, what he's going to respond to. And it was not class when I saw a lot of people making fun out of the mannerisms of his speech. So that wasn't funny at all.
The ceasefire.
You give him credit for that.
Yeah, we give it.
The Indians don't.
They don't. He said it, I think, the 42nd time yesterday.
He did. He really wants a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
Do you still believe he should get one even after bombing Iran?
I think, if the context, I've just explained to you why we...
The India-Pakistan
context, that is still there, He's still, I think he's still playing a very pivotal role in keeping peace in our region,
Yeah, but look, you can't just think so selfishly, right? You can't think selfishly and be like, oh, because Donald Trump did this for us against India, the guy should win a Nobel Peace Prize. What is the Nobel Peace Prize, right? Are you just looking out for yourself, or are you looking out for Muslims worldwide? And honestly, as a Muslim majority country, you should not be in this position if you're just looking out for your country. I understand the individualistic nature of wanting to protect your country, right? I understand that. But this is not the ideology in which Muslims were brought up on. We learn that our Muslim brothers and sisters are our brothers and sisters. No matter what corner they're in, we have a duty to protect them, right? And then we also have a duty to protect humanity, right? I don't think he's saying that, oh, I didn't know that Donald Trump was going to do that with Iran, right? That's nonsense. I mean, look at the past actions of what Donald Trump has said and done. He said very racist remarks, right? And when it came to immigration, he said a lot of racist remarks there too. But you're only looking at it from a perspective that, oh, because he helped us out with India, then he should win a Nobel Peace Prize. No, I'm sorry. That's very selfish of you to say.
Pakistan has sourced around 80% of its weapons from China over the past 4 years, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Do you worry that your country's close relationship now with Trump through mineral deals, crypto deals, and more, that could jeopardize your vital relationship with China? After all, he did spend a lot of time criticizing China, Donald Trump, recently. That obviously America and China are at loggerheads.
And they will remain loggerhead.
But are you worried about jeopardizing your long-standing relationship with China?
No. We are not worried about that because it's a time-tested relationship with China. Since the late 50s and Indo.
But they might not like you flirting with the US.
I
He's
can
gonna really
respond
push
to
the
that,
flirt
but I'll just conclude it by saying that China is not worried about our flirtatious or whatever you call it.
Look, honestly, flirtatious is just the wrong word to use here, right? You have a nation, the United States of America, that has intervened into Eastern region matters the most, destabilized literally all of Muslim majority countries, from Afghanistan, even destabilizing Pakistan by getting Pakistan to attack Afghanistan, right? Helping the United States of America in attacking Afghanistan. Then you've got the case of Afia Siddiqui, which is a very traumatic story to even hear. And she's still in Guantanamo Bay because of it, right? So what I can't understand is, with the history that the United States of America has, right? With it being the only country sending down a nuke to Japan, with it being the only country to destabilize our region so badly, how could you even want to have a relationship, and that too a flirtatious relationship? It's just crazy. I mean, any person with dignity would not want to do that. They would have gone the other way by stabilizing their region, by supporting your neighbors and try to create good relationships with them so that you can strengthen it, so that you wouldn't be in a weakened state where Qatar is, oh, USA, please help us. Pakistan's like, oh, USA, please help us. This is the situation we've brought onto ourselves. Quite honestly, this is a situation where we cannot even argue about, because we've done this to ourselves. The Ummah is disunited, right? We don't care about politics no more. We're not, I kid you not, in my family and in many families that I've met, they had this agenda. No, you can't go into politics. Oh, it's terrible, you can't go into politics. There's just too much corruption. There's just too much danger for you to go into politics. And ever since that's happened, we've got less and less good people in politics making good decisions. We had one Prime Minister, Imran Khan, who actually stood up and said that, no, I'm going to build my own strength. I'm going to get rid of the debt. I'm going to not create a good relationship with the USA unless it's beneficial for Pakistan. And what happened to Imran Khan? We all know what happened. The political parties in Pakistan kicked him out and put him in jail. So you're not even trying to help yourself. You're not wanting to strengthen your country. You're rather wanting to piggyback off someone and hope that they're going to help you. And it never works out like that.
You used the word flirtatious. I did not. Is Pakistan's strategic future, though, you're the defense minister, you look at military strategy, you're planning years ahead, is your strategic future with China or with the US? It can't be with both.
You're right. In the past, China, and even today, and inshallah in future also, Pakistan has been a very reliable ally, a very reliable, provider of arms of all kinds to us. We, our Air Force, our submarines, JF-17 and 10, both are Chinese planes. Our submarines are from there. Almost a major portion of our arms are from China, and our defense cooperation is increasing. It is much more robust than before.
With China?
With China. And then the main reason is unreliability of other sources like the United States of America.
So then, are you basically saying your strategic future is with China, not the US?
Yeah, but because
they're a reliable ally.
They're reliable and they are our neighbors. We share borders.
Again, honestly, I know Mehdi Hasan is pushing him to answer this, but it comes back to defense strategy. This isn't something that I would want anyone to know as yet, right? If I was in Khawaja Asif's position, I would not want to give a clear-cut answer to this because it would just roll heads, right? And whatever advantage that Pakistan had, it would just basically go into the dustbin on that, right? Yeah, but if he goes, yeah, we're with China, it would show China that intent and it would create a deeper relationship. I understand that, but maybe Pakistan is not at that stage to give that kind of declaration yet. So again, for those who have been mocking him for not giving a proper answer, this isn't something that you should be giving a proper answer anyways.
Borders and
Yes.
we share the geography also.
But because they're your ally, you never criticize China. You would criticize the genocide in Gaza, but the
Yeah.
Pakistani government won't criticize China's genocide of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang.
Again, it just shows hypocrisy, right? When you're the more and more I'm listening to it, the more I'm getting this feeling that Pakistan has become a country that's just literally beggars can't be choosers. It's actually reflecting in the way the answers are being given. Wherever we're seeing benefit, we're needy. Oh, the US is going to help us. Oh, we're your best friend. The China is going to help us. We're your best friend. Saudi is giving us money for our debts. Oh, we're your best friend. I don't care who you are, whether you're Muslim, non-Muslim, whether you have a history of being traitors, you have a history of massacring people. We don't care. As long as you're helping us, we don't care about your character. We don't care about what your thoughts are. As long as you're helping us, we're just going to go there. We have no morality of our own. This is what I'm getting out of it. If you're going to be condemning Gaza, right? If you're going to be condemning the actions that have been on Gaza, then you have to take that same strain and condemn what's going on with the Uyghur Muslims. And that's what Pakistan's not ready to do. See, you fear the relationship you have with China more than you fear Allah. And one of the most important things that we're taught is that even if you can't do anything about something, at least condemn it. At least say it from your mouth that I condemn this action, right? But Pakistan's failed to do this many, many times.
Well, I'm aware of what is.
This is a tough question to answer now.
Trying to.
I'm just pointing out a double standard that some people might say.
Yes.
The Pakistani government criticizes Israel for the genocide in Gaza, but it
I
doesn't
think
say anything about the Chinese government.
these two situations are not comparable.
I agree. They are different.
They are totally
and
different.
the death toll in Gaza is on a different level. But what China's done in Xinjiang is bad. Every human rights group, every UN organization, the Uyghur expats, these are Muslim people being oppressed in Xinjiang province, mosques being destroyed.
I have been there and I have interacted with some Muslim, very important officials in Chinese hierarchy, and they are very well placed. Of course, there must be some disturbance there in the Xinjiang province. I don't deny that, but I think most of these organizations have. It's exaggerated what is happening.
Subhanallah, there is no exaggeration. If you are going to see, this guy literally sounds like everyone that spoke against the horrors of Gaza, right? Just think of it like this: when you're speaking for the truth, right? Now that it's become very well known, oh, it's a genocide. Oh, we can speak so openly, but look at the fact, he's calling it a disturbance, right? And he's saying maybe there's a disturbance. He's being so careful with his words. He is more worried about his relationship with China that he's willing to just undermine the troubles of the Uyghur Muslims, right? That's astonishing. Honestly, that's astonishing. And when you're doing it in front of camera, you can see the double standards. I mean, you're in the same interview. You were just saying, yeah, Gaza, Gaza, Gaza. And when it comes to Uyghur Muslims, oh, they're two different situations. No, they're not, right? Oppression is oppression. So on one point, you were completely open. Oh, you know, the Israelis have a lot of influence in the United States of America. The UN might get fossilized because they're not doing their job. China, no, I don't think it's exaggerated. Come on, man. You're doing it in the same interview. At least wait until you're doing a different interview. You can't just do that.
What's happening over there, in my humble opinion.
But it's interesting you should say that. So I interview a lot of ministers from a lot of governments, and whenever I put human rights issues, they say, oh, these are exaggerations. But interestingly, the same people who criticize Gaza, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, they criticize China in Xinjiang, they criticize India's military in Kashmir. I'm sure you agree with the human rights reports in Kashmir, but you don't agree with them in Xinjiang because that's your ally. You're selective.
Yeah, I was about...
And you know what? Khawaja Asif, what he doesn't realize is that he's speaking to a veteran in media journalism. A veteran. This person has prepared for this. He has prepared to an extent that he's gone through the history of China, Pakistan, Uyghur Muslims, India, everything. He's ready, right? So if you're going to bring double standards and you're going to hesitate with your answers, he's going to catch you and he is going to pressure you until you answer, right? So it's not very smart. This is not very smart. I mean, if Khawaja Asif literally just said, look, Mehdi, there are allies, right? And because there are allies, we're going to be hypocritical in the sense that we're not going to look their way. Even that would have been a better response than trying to hesitate, because now he's going to make you look like a fool, right? Rather than just being straight up and looking like the villain, than being looked like a fool.
To use the same phrase, you know, it's not. No, we are not selective, but you know, the scale and the size of what is happening in Gaza is much bigger.
We agree on that.
You know,
I'm not disputing that.
And it is the way it is being covered by social media and the electronic media.
Well, just because there's a bigger death toll, that's why we should care about it, right? Oppression is oppression, mate.
Yeah, that has contributed to the recognition of this genocide or recognition of brutality which is taking place.
Undeniable, we agree on that. The Indians, of course, would say when Pakistan criticizes what's happening in Kashmir, that's exaggerated. Those are just disturbances.
Exactly.
Kashmir is a human rights disaster, I think we can agree on. I just want to be clear, Minister, is Pakistan's position, you mentioned the UN resolution a moment ago, is Pakistan's position that there should be a referendum to determine the future of Kashmir? And would that referendum be a binary choice between being part of India or being part of Pakistan? Or do you support giving Kashmiris a third choice of choosing to be independent?
You know, this has been discussed over many decades, just to find a way out of this deadlock, you know. If the parties to this conflict, China is also a party to it, because part of Kashmir is with China also, you know. If they can, I'm not suggesting anything, but if they can sit together, if they really want to find a solution for...
Again, even the problem in Kashmir, who was the one to create that problem? It was the United States and the United Kingdom, right? When you were trying to colonize and then you tried to run out, you just, left a mess. And through that mess, you made sure that there would be literally internal conflicts going on between these countries. I mean, you just couldn't walk out happily. You didn't even want to make sure that, okay, fine, we're leaving it in a good state. No, we're going to leave it in a state where they're just going to continue conflicting with each other. A lot of Pakistan and the world understands this fact now, that when the British left out, they left it in a mess, and they made sure that it was left in a mess, so that there would always be that destabilization. We're going to be fighting amongst ourselves, and we're never going to be strengthening ourselves so that we can be in a position of power, and we can be in a position where we can set the rules for trade, right?
For Kashmir problem, and if that is the solution acceptable to people in Kashmir, that could be a way out of the stalemate.
What is your government's policy?
See, again, when you're talking about something which is just, it's very easy to speak, right? You're not going to be stuttering. You're going to be very, you're going to be calm when you speak. So Khawaja Asif talking about Kashmir, he's saying a just thing that, yeah, it's for the people of Kashmir to decide. But, a few minutes back, we're talking about China and, come on.
Because you mentioned
our government policy.
The UN resolution doesn't offer an independence vote. It offers
our stated policy is definitely what the resolution states.
Because Imran Khan, when he was Prime Minister, and we'll come to him later, he actually said he would be open to a third choice in a referendum. I'm just wondering if your government shares that.
I, for the time being, as long the resolution is there, and if there is an effort that the third choice should be, the option should be explored.
Okay.
Then, of course, that could be one of the options.
So just to clarify for your viewers, the government policy is still UN resolution, referendum, choose between India and Pakistan, but you're not opposed to the possibility of a third choice.
If it is the parties to the conflict, they agree on finding another solution.
It's not about the parties of conflict, it's about the people on the ground, self-determination.
Exactly.
I got to ask, you're the defense minister. There was a conflict this year, 4 days, a lot of violence. How close did India and Pakistan get to using nuclear weapons?
No, I think there was absolutely no possibility of using nuclear weapons,
And you had this 4-day military conflict with India, again over Kashmir, following this deadly attack by militants on civilians in Pahalgam. Pakistan denied sponsoring that attack. India has not provided any.
You know what? This is going to be a funny thing. So, in Pakistan, every time India is getting close to some sort of elections, to win their elections, Narendra Modi, he always makes it a way where there has to be some sort of conflict with Pakistan, increase hate against Pakistan, and then when they find a solution to it, he gets the votes for it. And it's been a well-known case all time around. What I'm very interested in knowing is that now Pakistan's allied with Saudi, right? I want to know if India is going to continue doing these maneuvers in creating conflict against Pakistan, because I think it's going to be a lot more dangerous this time around.
Evidence to the world that you were behind it. But the truth is that your country does have a long history of backing militant groups in Kashmir. Former President Pervez Musharraf said about 15 years ago, he admitted it in an interview with a German magazine. You, in an interview with Sky News earlier this year, you said Pakistan had done dirty work for the West, especially during the Afghan jihad. I mean, that's undeniable, right? You don't deny Pakistan's history with a lot of these militant groups.
I particularly our participation in two so-called jihads, one against Soviet Union,
yes,
and the other against the Taliban. I think Pakistan had no business to be there in both these situations. Whatever we are facing internally.
See, you know what he's saying? He's saying Pakistan had no business to be there. If he could choose, he would not want to help Afghanistan. And see, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. He would rather just stay neutral so that they don't have a financial and economic crisis. Pakistan does not have to spend as much and, stay in a strong position. Just by hearing these words, you can see that there is no effort being made in stabilizing the eastern region. There's no heartfelt effort being, even in his words, you can just see that, look, I would rather have stayed out of it. No matter what massacres happening around me, I would have stayed outside of it. And because of that, there was a time while I was in Pakistan and I was doing my A-levels, there was a time where bomb attacks were very, very, so the attacks on Pakistan were explosives, right? We would be going to school and we would hear the sound, and it was a very dangerous time to live in Pakistan.
And the religious radicalization and overdose of religious fervor, that is because of these two episodes which took place, one in 80s and one just the last.
But you were not passive observers. You chose.
Yeah, we chose. We made a mistake. We made a mistake.
But what about today?
No, see, when he says we made a mistake, I feel as if it really undermines how big of a mistake it was. especially for those lives that were affected. And the number one name on that list is Afia Siddiqui, right? If you feel as if you've made a mistake, then why are you not rectifying that mistake? Why are you not calling for Afia Siddiqui to be returned to Pakistan? The people of Pakistan, Imam Umar Suleiman, the whole world has been shouting out free Afia, and Pakistan has never spoken on it. Pakistan does not call out for Afia Siddiqui to be freed. So I'm sorry, man, I don't buy it. When you're thinking that you made a mistake, I honestly feel as if you're saying it from the perspective of, oh, we spent too much money on it, or for our own selfish desires, we made a mistake. You're not thinking about the lives that it's affected.
Is the mistake over?
No.
Or is it ongoing?
We made a mistake. This is my personal view.
Fair.
There was a dictator in a military ruler. Ziaul Haq was there. He was desperately, exploring the possibility of establishing some sort of relationship with the United States. So this was one opportunity, and we lent our whatever was available or whatever.
Understood.
Was, The second episode took place again. Musharraf lent his support. So I think
but that's Afghanistan.
That is Afghanistan.
In Kashmir, the Pakistani ISI happily backed a lot of these groups.
But Kashmir...
Yeah, look, as much as Mehdi wants to push on this, I don't think... When it comes to India, I'm telling you, Pakistan are very close lips. When they're not going to reveal anything, bro. No matter how hard you try, no matter... what kind of slip-ups Khawaja Asif will say, flirtatious with USA. But when it comes to this, their IQ levels are here when they're going to protect something.
We had absolutely nothing to do with what was happening in Afghanistan.
Agreed.
It was not our business.
Yep.
But Kashmir is a dispute. It is a wound which is bleeding for last 78 years or 77 years.
The Indians would say that you've helped bleed that wound by supporting a lot of these militant groups.
I don't
Not
think
just the
so.
Indians, all the Western
I don't
governments
think
would
so. I don't think so because there is an indigenous freedom movement, though it's it's on the back burner now.
Yes.
But it was
there is an indigenous movement, but there are also guys sitting in Pakistan. You know their names, leaders of groups who are under house arrest or in prison or wandering freely in the streets of Pakistan.
No, they are not. None
They
of
have
them.
done. They have done in recent years.
In the past.
Not in the past. In recent years.
No, not in recent years. I won't.
Man, if Mehdi is pushing something so hard, then it is. I think he's got something that he's gonna unleash on Khawaja Asif. So tread carefully.
Endorse that,
So
we can.
I just want to be clear. Then you're
disagree.
saying as of today, September 2025.
He's trying to get him
Pakistan
to give a
and
time
Pakistani
period
ISI
because he's
is not
got
backing
something.
any militant groups.
Absolutely.
The ISI.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when did that policy begin? When did you stop backing it? Because you've admitted you used to back it.
No. This is something which we are actually, as after this incident in Pahalgam, we offered even that international, sort of inquiry can be instituted if our involvement is established. Then what?
But you, as the defense minister, are saying, vouching that you have checked. You can give your personal assurance that the Pakistani government, the Pakistani intelligence agencies, the military, have no ties anymore to any of these militant groups.
Absolutely, I'll endorse that again.
But I'm wondering, when did that happen? When was the cutoff?
I think these organizations you have just referred, which were obviously, I have said it on record that they were being supported by Pakistan in the past. I think this, if I can't say 5, 6, or 8, or 9, 10 years, but few years, it has cooled down, this whole thing,
Okay. Let's talk about the military. The 4-day conflict with India saw the prestige of Pakistan.
You know what? Before we get further into this, I'll share my own personal story here. When it came to the very recent elections that went by, I remember going with my family to the place where, for my area, my local area, where we're supposed to give our votes. And when they open the register, we're basically supposed to put a thumbprint or next to our name to show that we voted, right? And I saw my whole family's names right there, and I saw my father's name there as well. And my father passed away 4 or 5 years ago. So subhanallah, my father's name should not have been there. People who have been deceased, they should not have been in that register. And of course, it was understandable that what was going to happen is, and right after we gave our votes in, the final vote count was delayed by quite a bit, right? And what we understood from that is that the empty thumbprints that are left now, they're going to start swaying the votes towards the preferred party that the military wanted to go towards. So the thing is, I mean, is this something I should be even being afraid to say on camera? I don't think so, because when something so obvious and open is happening, then you are going to get some sort of pressure coming from media and from ourselves when we're going to be speaking out about these topics, right? If you were a little bit more discreet in what you were doing, then we wouldn't have been able to understand that. But it was so open when it came to this that, of course, there is going to be clashback on this.
Pakistan's military skyrocket within your country. It's a strange system you have in Pakistan. I think you've called it a hybrid model, where the military and civilian leaders effectively share power. But the military leaders are really the ones in charge, are they not? In most countries, the head of the army answers to the defense minister. In your country, you, the defense minister, answer to the head of the army, don't you?
See, now this is wrong. Look, Muslim, non-Muslim, I think it's an understood principle. And this is what Islam teaches us as well. I remember when I was... there is a scholar, his name is Sheikh Haytham, and he gave this wonderful example of the salah and how you can kind of understand that into your own life in different aspects. So for example, when you're praying salah in Jama'ah, right, you have an imam, and then you have the first saf, and then so on, right? Now, there is always one leader, leading the Jama'ah. And you learn from your life, for your life, that whether it be business, whether it be the household, whether it be a country, right? Allah is teaching us that there should be one leader, the one leader who makes the decisions. But we also learn that in the first Jama'ah, if, let's say, the imam makes a mistake, what happens? Well, in our salah, we learn that there are people who have done hifz and one person who has been given that responsibility to ensure that if the imam has made a mistake, then he will rectify that mistake, right? In a subtle way. So then what do we learn here? That even when you're running your business, right, you have your advisors, you have people to make sure that you don't make any mistakes, but there has to be one leader. And this is what's going so wrong in Pakistan, where your defense minister is agreeing that there's a hybrid model. There is no one leader in Pakistan.
Munir is a more powerful person than you are.
No, it's not like that.
You don't think General Asim Munir is more powerful than you are in Pakistan today?
No, I'm a political appointee. I'm a political worker,
But I'm saying in other countries, in this country, we're in the US, Peter Hegseth can fire the top American general. You can't fire the top Pakistani general.
They have a different model over here.
Yeah, it's called democracy.
No, it's called deep state,
Well, civilian rule.
It's a deep state.
Pakistan doesn't have a deep state.
Every country has a deep state.
But in your country, the deep state's in charge.
No.
That's what the accusation is.
We are, it's, you can say that because of our military rulers,
yes.
4 military rulers.
Yes.
So it is more, visible. It's not like...
but who's in charge is what I'm trying to understand. Where does power lie?
I said it is high.
No, see, I'm sorry, man. I mean, you can't be saying that, because other people are making these mistakes, that's why it's okay for us to make a mistake. You being in such an authoritative position should only be striving towards excellence. You can't hide behind other people's mistakes and say, because they're doing it, then, so we also have that problem. No, man. If you're going to be a figure of influence, you have to always strive for excellence.
Hybrid,
So it's equal.
It's not equal.
If you and Asim Munir disagree on something, who gets the last word?
We can agree to disagree.
I understand you can disagree, but then what happens? Let's say you want to go left and he wants to go right. Who wins that argument?
No, it is by consensus, whatever
Okay.
is taking place.
Can you really be considered a democracy if the military is even indirectly involved in running the government?
Yeah, I have a view on that. I don't think so. There is a perfect democracy anywhere in the world.
Agreed.
Yeah, so why do you want to apply the Western ideology of democracy? This is not what Islam teaches us either, right? And I have an issue with this. I mean, again, even political members, they're not based on votes, because you've got family households continuing their reign in politics, right? So why are you not striving towards Islamic excellence? Why are you looking at the Western, philosophy of democracy and striving towards that?
There are deep states in UK, in USA, and elsewhere also. Here in American history, recent American history, in last 60, 70 years, there are some very stark evidences and events which took place.
I know, but there haven't been military coups like in Pakistan.
No, we are unfortunate that it took place in 58
Yes.
and 71. And
But I'm
and,
asking, in 2025, is Pakistan a democracy if the generals still have a role in
without
government?
having
If
a
it's a
leader.
hybrid,
No,
can it still be a democracy in your view?
I'm not claiming that we have perfect democracy.
Okay.
But we will ultimately, we are marching towards that, with the, whenever there is a friction between these two institutions,
Yes.
strong institutions, political, and they become adversaries. So we have found a way that our relationship.
And I want to add to this, from what Mehdi Hasan is saying, that media blackout, see, they don't care how it affects the economy. Me running a Islamic digital marketing agency, internet is the only way I can do my work, right? And I will literally lose clients if my work is delayed. And I am completely dependent on the internet, on the platforms that I need to post out my content for my clients, for Islamic charities, for masajid. And when they do these media blackouts, there were so many cases where they just wanted to ensure that nobody, were able to coordinate and, meet each other for protesting or rallying, right? And just for that purpose, to ensure that nobody can protest, they just cut the internet. They made sure that Facebook wasn't available, Instagram wasn't available, nothing was available. And we're sitting on our backs thinking, hey, we've got nothing to do with these protests. We've got nothing to do with the rallies. We're sitting here doing our 9 to 5. We need to serve our clients and work for them, and we can't do anything, right? So they don't really care what's going on with, the people in Pakistan. They're just interested in making sure that, okay, we need to attack this opponent of ours, and they're fighting amongst each other. When that shouldn't be the case.
Should not be adversarial. We should be complementing each other, because we are in a very dire situation
Yes.
for a very long time.
Yes.
We do not need different power centers in Pakistan. We can combine our forces in one power center and try to bring our country out of economic problems,
Yes.
other problems, political problems, So,
On the political front, can you also be considered a democracy if you effectively criminalize the opposition, ban a political party, the PTI, Imran Khan's party, from running for office, impose a media blackout on them, arrest and detain hundreds of party members, and of course put their leader, Imran Khan, the former prime minister of your country, in prison on very questionable charges, many of which have been dropped or overturned on appeal over the years, as you know. I wonder, are you banning and cracking down on the PTI because you're worried about how popular they are?
I don't think so. I do not endorse the idea that they are popular. I'm not denying that. They are not popular. And I think...
By the way, as a disclaimer, although I voted for PTI, I am in no way an advocate for PTI, but and I don't believe PTI was 100% perfect in the way that they did their leadership on Pakistan, right? But one thing that we saw, a change that we saw, was the world respected Pakistan during Imran Khan's reign in Pakistan. And because of that respect it was easier to form relationships with international clients for us. We were having better trade with international clients. And, just like the Donald Trump situation and the current issues that Pakistan are having, where we're disgracing ourselves with our demeanor in the cricket match against India in the finals, right? All the way to trying to vote for Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. This is not good. And it really puts, it makes it hard for us to do our business, to create relationships with people outside of Pakistan.
Over the last 2.5 years, the popularity has definitely gone down because of economic recovery. That is one big factor, and things are much more orderly since the last elections. We have problems. We have political problems.
But is it fair to stop one party that you don't like?
We're not. They have access to the judiciary.
They're not even allowed to use their own symbol when they run for office. Come on.
No, I'm in prison for 6 months without any charge.
You have been?
Yeah.
I mean, all the politicians. But that's the problem with Pakistan. You all imprison each other every time you come to power. So why do it to Imran Khan? If it was unjust to you, isn't it unjust to Khan?
No, I'm not saying that it's for tit for tat. I'm not saying that. But this is something which is there.
You literally defined tit for tat, and now you're saying I'm not saying tit for tat. You literally defined it. The very first reason of putting Imran Khan in jail was saying that, oh, look what's happened to me.
Which is there, and if Imran Khan can justify whatever he did,
then we can say the same
and
about
say
Gaza.
that that was okay, and this time it's not okay. This selective amnesia or selective, application of.
No, I won't disagree that.
So if you can disagree with UN experts, Netanyahu's doing the same, then. What's the difference between you and Netanyahu when it comes to morality?
Pakistani politicians across the board are guilty of selective amnesia. But Amnesty International said in a report last year that it has found a pattern of weaponization of the legal system to keep Imran Khan under detention. And it's not just Amnesty. You're here in New York attending the UN General Assembly. The UN's own working...
From what I'm remembering... you also put Imran Khan's family and everyone that supported PTI in jail. There were actual people who, if they even had a close connection with PTI, they had to get out of the country because they actually they saw people coming to their gate and inquiring about them, and people were scared for their lives. So again, the more you talk, the more I'm realizing that actually it was tit for tat.
Group on arbitrary detention said last year that there was no legal basis for Khan's imprisonment.
Yes.
They called it arbitrary. They called it a violation of international law. What is your response to those UN experts while you're here in New York for the UN? What do you say to them?
Well, I think they have an opinion with which I disagree.
Their opinion is that you're breaking the law.
No, we are not breaking the law.
Pakistan is in violation of international law.
No,
that's what they said last year.
I disagreed with that. Totally disagree with that. Pakistan has a situation whereby we are trying to recover from a very, very misrule or bad rule or whatever you can call it for 3.5 years. Absolutely, even the families were in the jail during Imran Khan's rule. Nawaz Sharif's daughter was there.
You just said it wasn't tit for tat.
No, it wasn't tit for that.
But every time I ask about Imran Khan, you say, well,
but
we were in prison as
you
well.
have to refer to the context.
So I happily condemn that as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I interviewed Imran Khan and I asked him about that.
But for instance, I remember that. I'll give you an example. Way back in 2012, I accused Imran Khan for siphoning.
So, there are cases that will definitely stick. So for those who don't know, this government tried to bury Imran Khan in just an astonishing amount of cases that had absolutely no foundation to it. And you can even tell from what he's saying, oh, some of them will stick, right? And it was just to defame the guy, just to attack the guy. And I want to take this opportunity to kind of reflect. on the state of Muslims today, right? In the times of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and from the teachings of Islam, we are constantly taught that you need to trust your Muslim brother. You need to protect your Muslim brother. You need to be there for them. And we're in a situation, Pakistan is in a situation where they are publicly fighting amongst each other. Why wouldn't potential enemies attack us? Why wouldn't they? When they can see, oh, they're fighting in their own land, they can't unite they cannot unite to allow a prime minister to finish his term, right? I mean, fine, if you feel as if the government is not heading Pakistan towards a correct direction, you're not even going to let him finish his term, and you're just going to try to jump the boat and get him, right? So you can't show any dignity or patience or allow someone to do their work that was voted by the people. The people voted him, and you're not going to let him complete his term as prime minister. And you're sitting here just, trying to defame a person who's in jail, who cannot speak up for himself, and he cannot defend himself. And again, he's your Muslim brother, and it means nothing to you.
The money of Shaukat Khanum and investing it in real estate in Muscat through offshore companies. He gave me a notice, defamation notice. Yeah. 13 years have passed. He's not, cross-examined me. I begged them, please cross-examine me because I have proofs. From their own balance sheet.
He's in the capacity to do that now, is he?
Yeah.
He's in prison.
No. He's in prison.
You said before that he could have done it.
2012. He was in power.
You know that many of the cases your government
just did an amazing thing.
Illegal marriage fell apart.
All
these ridiculous charges.
There are
multiple
in my
charges fell apart.
Whatever little knowledge I have, legal knowledge I have, there are cases will definitely stick.
You don't think he's being persecuted as the UN and Amnesty and others say?
I don't agree with that.
Well, let's look at the evidence. Jemima Khan, Imran's ex-wife, said in July of this year, "My children are not allowed to speak on the phone to their father." Pakistan's government has now said if they go there to try and see him, they too will be arrested and put behind bars.
No, they will. It will never happen.
You haven't threatened his children.
I can guarantee that.
You're giving a guarantee.
Guarantee that
Imran Khan's son, Suleiman and Qasim,
and
go to Pakistan and meet their father. You're giving that guarantee right now.
They can come.
And they won't be arrested, they won't be detained,
they won't be arrested.
Harmed.
They won't be harmed.
Okay. Well, we've seen it. Let's see what happens.
Let them come,
The reason they're worried is because it's not just them. Khan's sister Alima says that he's been deprived of proper legal access. On July the 1st, Khan's lawyer was granted only 95 seconds to consult with the former PM. In fact, just this week, Imran Khan's lawyer Salman Akram Raja said that Imran Khan had to join a court hearing via cell phone and WhatsApp from his prison cell. The judge couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear the judge, but the trial continued nevertheless. How is that a fair trial?
Or you can defame someone publicly, but you can't provide the evidence.
Salman Akram Raja, who once represented
he's operating a Twitter account from the jail cell, Do you know that?
You said he was operating from India the other day. I saw you say
that.
You said India is controlling his Twitter account.
Who's then? What is the truth then?
You tell me. You just made two different allegations.
I'm saying that.
Is it Imran in his prison cell or is it India?
It is one. This either he's operating from this cell, or he should at least identify who's operating the.
You just said a moment ago that he wanted to sue you for defamation.
Yeah.
You just claimed that India is controlling Imran Khan's Twitter account. What evidence do you have for that? It's a big claim to make. What's the evidence?
The evidence.
Man, you're not even trying to answer the question. He's just trying to just throw more and more on Imran Khan and defame him. You're not even protecting yourself here. You're not defending yourself. Your method of defending yourself is by continuing to attack the person. That is not correct.
I cannot publicly disclose the evidence.
If you can't publicly disclose the evidence, why make the claim?
No, because it's
there. Trust
there.
We have to trust the Pakistani defense minister. You believe that India is controlling his Twitter account based on what? Intelligence?
Yeah, based on obviously intelligence. Nobody's stating it openly.
Do you really think Pakistanis, they'll believe a lot of stuff? Do you really think they'll believe that Imran Khan is unpatriotic? There's a lot of things you can believe about him. You can say, oh, he's corrupt, he's this, that, whatever. Do you think people will believe that he's working for India? No one seriously.
Thank you.
Well, that's a discussion which is there is evidence of that, in recent tweets. I'll just give you one evidence.
Yeah.
He has never condemned the Taliban's,
I mean, I asked him that question too, and he kind of did. Yes, later he did.
And even 3 or 4 days back.
What's that got to do with India controlling?
No, I'll come to that.
Okay.
His statement, maybe 4 or 5 days back,
So
he was.
Okay, here's another thing. Again, going back to the teachings of Islam, there was a time in Medina where it was very clear cut if someone was a hypocrite, right? Everyone knew who the munafiq were, but the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would not call them downright munafiq. He would not do anything against them, right? It's basically showing good character. You as a person should not go down to a level you think the other person is at. If you feel that Imran Khan is at a lower level with low morality and low dignity, you're essentially saying that allows me to go to that low as well, and I shouldn't get any clash on it, right? So this is silly. I can't believe a defense minister is openly saying that because his hands aren't clean, I'm not going to have my hands clean.
Again, asking, the Taliban's, they should be treated differently.
Yeah,
and during his rule, thousands are brought back to Pakistan. And
I think we've already discussed all Pakistani governments are guilty of supporting dodgy groups. I just want to focus on this trial issue, because you say he's having a free trial. All of the trials he's had have been jail trials conducted inside the Adiala prison premises. Under international law, which Pakistan has signed up to, the ICCPR convention, you're supposed to have a public hearing. Why can't he have one? Why is it in jail?
The same thing was done to Nawaz Sharif also.
Again, we're back to tit for tat. So because it happened to Nawaz Sharif, it should happen to Imran Khan?
They said if you come into equity, you must come with clean hands, That's the maximum of equity.
You say you have clean hands?
Keep pushing.
You say your government has clean hands?
No, he doesn't have clean hands.
But you're admitting that.
If he's
hold on.
demanding
you're admitting then that you're depriving him of rights.
Yeah.
No, he's claiming equity.
He may be a hypocrite, not a hypocrite. That's irrelevant. The issue is, are you depriving him of the rights that he is entitled to? A fair and public trial.
No, if he's claiming equity, he must prove that he has clean hands.
That's not how the law works. People are entitled to rights regardless of whether they're hypocrites
equity
or criminals.
is one big pillar of law.
The international law that you signed up to Pakistan says everyone is entitled to a fair and public hearing. He's not getting one. He's on a WhatsApp call from his prison cell. That's not a fair public hearing.
I'm not aware of this particular transaction or incident.
I mean, he's having all his trials inside Adiala prison. You know that.
Yeah,
that's not a public hearing.
This is something which is happening for the last 72 years or 78 years in Pakistan.
Okay, your argument seems to be everyone's done bad stuff, so we're doing bad stuff. You said at the beginning, no tit for tat, but you spent the last 5 minutes.
I think the freedom they have in Pakistan, the PTI workers and their social media and all, it's unprecedented.
No, there's a huge crackdown on the PTI. Hundreds have been arrested. Hundreds, thousands.
No, I think this
is according to Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International.
This is exaggerated.
Donald Trump reportedly told your military chief, General Asim Munir, in June that he must resolve the situation with Imran Khan. What do you think he meant by that? And what's Pakistan going to do?
I don't know. Well, the resolution can be legal, constitutional, or of the sort which is available in on the statute books.
Okay, but you're not.
Well, in regard to climate change, I would want to take this opportunity to say that I made a video regarding cloudburst, and it specifically talks about climate change and Pakistan's part in this, right? It's a very interesting video. We're going to learn that actually the blame isn't wholly on Pakistan in this situation, and it requires many countries getting together to resolve it. But yeah.
I'm not going to release him because Donald Trump tells you to. Let's talk about some other. Time's running out. I appreciate.
Oh, and sorry, one more thing. I've actually had a first-hand feedback regarding the flood victims relief program, and it was something of the sorts that people could not take in those relief packs until they had Maryam Nawaz's picture on it to show that this is from Maryam Nawaz. So they even took that opportunity for political gain.
You're taking time out. A couple of other important issues. One is what Pakistan has endured since June, some of the heaviest monsoons in recent years, affecting more than 6 million people, more than 1,000 people killed, 12,000 homes damaged. You have said in the past, climate change is the direct result of unbridled capitalism, you have said. Your climate minister has called it a crisis of justice. Number one, what is Pakistan doing to try and tackle this crisis? And number two, when you hear Donald Trump say at the UN, climate change and wind power is the greatest con job ever perpetrated.
See, it's a lot more than this. So definitely, I'll just point my finger here, but I'll make sure to reference the Cloudburst video. But just on this, my own daughter, she's I think she's 8 years old, 7 years old, sorry. And I remember the last winter season, every year what happens is Pakistan goes through a season of smog, right? It's just pure pollution in just mist, right, in your face. And it got to a point where my daughter couldn't breathe. She was having trouble breathing. So we made an active decision that my wife and my children are going to go down to Islamabad so I'm based in Lahore, and I sent them to Islamabad. The moment she went midway and the smog cleared up, because Islamabad is in the mountainous region, so the air quality is much, much better there. My daughter was able to breathe properly. It got so bad, she was just constantly coughing, and I got very scared. So we made that decision straight away, immediately. She needs to go to Islamabad and stay there for at least a week or two and just skip school until the smog is over. So it was really bad. Pakistan is one of the most affected when it comes to pollution. Quite recently, I've started cycling to work and going home. And I've noted that ever since I've started cycling, I've been coughing a lot, quite a bit now. And I can completely understand why, because while I'm cycling, there are cars and motorbikes where black smoke is coming out of the exhaust pipes and it's going straight in your face. There's dust just going straight into your face. And it's in Lahore specifically, the pollution is horrible.
On the world. Is that something you agree with?
I don't agree with that.
Okay. So what is Pakistan's position on these crises?
Pakistan, as far as Pakistan is concerned, there are obviously there are reasons or there are causes which are beyond our control. The greenhouse gases and whatever is being done by the industrialized world. But the rest, if you ignore just the rest of the world, but there are things which we can do to mitigate the situation in Pakistan also. We have, for instance,
Again, he's kind of hitting the knife in his own foot by saying there's no force applying those laws in Pakistan. And who's going to enforce those laws? The government's going to enforce those laws. And why are they not enforcing those laws? Well, I think the most popular opinion is because they're getting paid not to enforce those laws. Or what other reason could there be? Just negligence. If negligence was a reason, then is this the correct government? In either way, you're basically just diminishing your representation of the government and calling yourself negligent in both manners.
In Pakistan, the forests are gone. Our mountains are almost totally denuded of the forests. That's one big reason. Our glaciers are melting, and greenhouse gases, local production of these gases is still there. Our laws are there on the statute books, but they are not being fully implemented, or they are not. There's absolutely no.
Right, but a lot of the points that Khawaja Asif is raising, it shows that he might not have a complete awareness of why Pakistan is being affected the most. Again, I would say, Khawaja Asif, please check out my Cloudburst video. You'll get a better understanding on why it's affecting Pakistan so much. Right.
Force behind those laws. So the violation of these environmental laws is something which is very evident in Pakistan. So I think we should, as far as the environment problem is concerned, we should set our house in order. It will reduce the danger or the destruction to an extent, but ultimately it has to be an international effort. And I don't agree that this environmental threat is a hoax, as you just mentioned, and it is
on the receiving end.
Yeah, and it is a very real threat to it's
a national security threat as well,
it is an existential threat.
Yeah, well
it is an existential threat.
Agreed.
You know, and we have to, it's going to visit us every year. You know, it's I live in a city which is the entry point of the water into Pakistan from Kashmir, Chenab and two other rivers, and there are 6-7 streams which you cannot imagine what sort of destruction it resulted in Pakistan and India both.
Yes.
You know, animals, even
something you could unite with India on to tackle.
Yeah, this is something, you know, the environment is, the world has to unite on this issue, you know.
With the exception of the United States, unfortunately. I want to ask one last question. I want to give you a chance to take this one. Pakistan is a country that has experienced military rule, massive levels of corruption from its ruling elites, an economy which hasn't grown in the same ways.
Why is Afghanistan a hostile country? Because they were able to do one thing that Pakistan could not do, and that is keep the United States of America away from their country. They've done something which Gaza would want to achieve right now. Or they're going to have to end up going to Donald Trump's solutions for Gaza and have Tony Blair leading Gaza for Israel's benefit. That's another video you should check out for us. It's going to be right below. But yeah, I mean, no, I don't agree with this.
India's high levels of political and sectarian violence. Paint a picture for me, for our viewers,
Afghanistan is
of
our
what
neighbor.
Pakistan could look like 5-10 years from now. How hopeful are you about your country's future?
I am definitely very hopeful about.
Although I don't agree with a lot of Afghanistan's policies on its people, but they're your neighbors. And Islam tells us a lot about how you should be with your neighbors.
Very positive about my country's future. There is an economic revival underway, but we have to do a lot. As far as terrorism is concerned, we are taking it head on, and we are trying to curb the terrorism, but it is coming from across the border. Afghanistan, I
don't agree. Actually, this is not correct. During Imran Khan's time as Prime Minister, it was very evident that Imran Khan was taking huge steps in improving Pakistan's relationship with Afghanistan, and then ultimately getting Afghanistan to align with, the regulations of United Nations. And it was that first step that's required. I mean, you can't just go up to them and be like, hey, hold on, the world's been rough on you, but you have to straighten ourselves out. No, the first step was a handshake, and that's exactly what Imran Khan was doing. Again, I'm not a complete advocate of Imran Khan, and quite recently I haven't been. There are certain things that I do have qualms over, but it was very evident that Pakistan was making steps during Imran Khan's reign in improving our relationships with Afghanistan and letting bygones be bygones, and those bygones where Khawaja Asif himself has said that he's made mistakes, right?
Defined the status of our relationship with Afghanistan about 2 or 3 days back. I think Afghanistan is a hostile country because Taliban are operating from their soil. I went there, I think, 2.5 years back, and they said we can relocate Taliban, take them to the western regions, and they asked us for a certain sum for that. Said we are ready to provide the sum, but what is the guarantee that they won't come back to our borders again, So these are real threats, and we are tackling with that. But situation was very bad 2 years back when we took over, and when Shahbaz Sharif became the Prime Minister second time, And but since then we have traveled a long way, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Hey, that hopelessness was created by you. The only reason why there is a sense of stability is because everyone in Pakistan knows that we cannot speak out, right? That's the ultimate truth. Even this video right here, maybe this is as far as I can go in speaking out about my concerns about Pakistan, but no one's going to be standing up. The people who are, they are being brave, right? I do sometimes feel that the people who are protesting may be misled a bit, and it's not through the best of intentions. But that number has decreased not because that there's hope in Pakistan, but because you and this hybrid model have scared the living daylights out of us. And we've seen what you've done to people who have affiliated with PTI. And no one wants to get into that mess. No one wants to disappear and never see their family again. So, yeah.
We have some very serious problems, but even just half an hour or 45 minutes back, I was in a meeting where we have started settling down our circular debt. It's a national problem. So for the first time, a thing which was considered 3 years or 4 years back impossible, that liability is being liquidated. That's a national liability, and banks are taking over that liability. And
whew. Right, well, there's a lot to unpack here, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed our go through of the interview. But yeah, Mehdi Hasan did an excellent job. I feel as if that from whatever criticisms I've had of the way Khawaja Asif has responded, the truth is that while living in Pakistan, I feel as if it's a first time after many years where there has been true stability, right? In the sense that there feels that there is a bit of peace now. But that peace isn't because the problems have gone away. It's mostly because we knew that the problems have always been between political opponents, and every time there is some sort of change in the government, then the opposing government just makes it a living hell until they get their way. So I've said this to quite a lot of people. Of course, there have been people who have said to me, but change is required, and I completely agree with them. But at the cost of what? When you get to that change and you try to force it through the way Imran Khan has done and the people of Pakistan try to do,